do you condemn what Hamas did on October 7th? I think honest people will acknowledge that's not an easy question. And it took me quite a long time to figure out how to answer that question. I knew instinctively, intuitively, I could not condemn what Hamas did. Not because I'm some flaming radical or some lunatic jihadi. The reason I couldn't condemn it was because I had spent the past 15 years chronicling what had been done to the people of Gaza and where they stood on October 6th. In the face of that knowledge, something told me I couldn't condemn. So, what am I referring to? The simple fact is that from 1948 forward, when Gaza became Gaza in 1948, from 1948 forward, every time, and I should clarify for younger people in the room, Gaza was under Egyptian administrative control from 1948 to 1967. In 1967, it came under Israeli control. But there's one common denominator between both of those experiences, Egyptian and then Israeli. The common denominator was every outside observer who came to Gaza walked away describing it as a concentration camp. That's true of UN officials in the 1950s. That's true for the older people in the room. The father of our former presidential candidate, Al Gore. Al Gore's father went to visit Gaza. His father was also a senator. He went to visit Gaza right after Israel conquered it. He went before Congress and he says Gaza is a huge concentration camp. In 2004, the head of Israel's National Security Council, the equivalent of our head of the CIA, he wrote, quote, Gaza is a huge concentration camp. Every observer coming to Gaza walked away with the same mental image. For those of you who are unaware, half the inmates of that concentration camp are children. Imagine this room where half children, from here to there, down the middle to the end, children. That's Gaza. And all of them were born into a concentration camp. But that's only, I'm sorry to say, that's only the beginning. Because beginning in 2006, Israel imposed this brutal blockade on Gaza. A blockade where they prohibited chocolate from entering Gaza. They prohibited baby chicks from entering Gaza. They prohibited potato chips from entering Gaza. The list of the things they prohibited was so long that they finally decided to just compose a list of what can enter Gaza. So we have a concentration camp compounded by a brutal medieval criminal siege of Gaza. And then Israel periodically launches its high-tech killing sprees in Gaza. Some of you will remember the names. 2008-9, Operation Protective Edge. 2012, Operation Pillar of Defense. 2014, Operation Protective Edge. During Protective Edge, the head of the International Committee of the Red Cross, Peter Maurer, he took a tour of Gaza after what Israel did in Protective Edge. And he commented, quote, "In all my professional life, I have never seen such destruction as I saw in Gaza. In all my professional life, a person whose entire resume consists of visiting combat zones." He said, "I've never seen such destruction as I saw in Gaza." Now guess what? You ready for this? During Operation Protective Edge, there were 2.5 million tons of rubble left behind. 2.5. Sounds terrible, right? Sounds horrible, right? Sounds ghastly, right? Leaves you aghast, right? Did to me. But the estimate now is that Israel, as of this moment, has left behind 50 million tons of rubble. 20 times Protective Edge, when Peter Maurer said, "I've never seen destruction like this ever before." In Protective Edge, 18,000 homes were destroyed or severely damaged. You know what the figure is now? About 300,000. 92% of the homes in Gaza, 92% have been damaged or destroyed. 92%, that's quite an achievement. No wonder the Israelis are so happy. That's a pretty impressive achievement. So, that's what Gaza was. A concentration camp compounded by a medieval siege, compounded by the periodic killing sprees. And truth be told, the world had forgotten about Gaza by October 6th. All the talk in the town was about the Abraham Accords and whether the Saudis would join. And it looked to the people of Gaza like the whole regional conflict was going to be solved over their heads. 60% of the young people in Gaza were unemployed. All they had to look forward to each day for their entire lives, because most of them were born after the siege was imposed in 2006. So those young men in Gaza who burst its gates on October 7th, burst the gates of the concentration camp. Those young men, they were born into a concentration camp. It's 26 miles long, the length of a marathon, 5 miles wide. All they had to look forward to each day was to pace the perimeter of the concentration camp. They had no past, they had no present, they had no future. They were born into a concentration camp. They languished in that concentration camp. And as of October 6th, they were destined to die in it. In the face of those facts, it seems to me that one can, even though it might sound contradictory, one can say simultaneously that horrors occurred on October 7th. I do not believe in the current state of our knowledge it can be disputed that Hamas committed mass atrocities on October 7th. I believe you can acknowledge that fact, but simultaneously say, I refuse to condemn those who carried out those acts because they were given no choice, no option except to be born into, to languish in, and to die in that concentration camp.